It's the beginning of the show. It's the beginning of the show. Ha! What's up, everybody? Is it Monday? It's Monday in full effect. How's everybody doing? It's a full-on, full. Why is this, like, super low? Oy. There we go. Sorry about that. Camera was getting super low on me. Oh, I gotta turn on the other. Whoa, that's bright. How much fun is that? I'm going to turn that light on and make it super bright. What's up, everybody? Good to see you on a Monday. Thank you for coming out. I had that light turned off because it was blinding me when I was trying to, do the things. And, staying busy. It's a Monday. It's a crazy busy Monday, as always. Happy to be here. Happy to come out and say hello. I will point out something today is different on this channel as from before. I think we've got a different feature. There's a join button now. I don't know if anybody was hollering for a join button. I don't know if anybody really wanted a join button. I'm uncertain. I had no idea if anybody really wanted a join button or not. But we have one now, and, we got one now. There was a bunch of people that said they didn't want to go support on Patreon because they were like, I don't want to sign up for another thing. And I'm supposed to have 30,000 subscribers in order to have the join button, but we petitioned the Googlemen, the Google McGoogleizers, and we said, hey, we need to have that join button on there because this is malarkey. What are we, living in the dark ages with no joiny McJoinerton button? So, the first things first with the join button, there will be a private, members-only live stream at the end of next month or sometime next month. Maybe it'll be like Valentine's Day. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know when it'll be. I don't know what the plan with that is. It kind of popped up this morning, and I was like, oh, those guys finally came through. They sent me a real friendly Google-style email, and I was like, wow, thanks for the email, guys. But regardless of the join button, you just want to sign up for the old Patreon. That's the best way to support the channel. But we got Paul Jones as the first brand new member. Well, there we go. And the first super chatter of the day. Paul is on it like a bonnet today. Coming in hot, coming in fresh. I think one of the big things about if you do the join button, I think your delay is way shorter. I think your delay is super short because you guys are like 20-something seconds behind me now. And I think that's one of the big things with the join. Once you've joined, your delay is gone, I think. You're down to like a 3 or 4 second delay. So I guess you could type in all super duper fast and be like, hey. Maybe that's a benefit, I think. I don't know. We'll see how it goes over the next little amount of time. And, as Niz the One there says, they're trying to outcompete third-party apps like Patreon. Yes, that is exactly what YouTube is doing. They added the join button feature because they realized that, oh, people are making other websites so that people that make stuff on our website could support making their stuff. So they figured they wanted to get their hands in the pie too, you know? So, yeah, I don't think there's any other kind of explanation for it. Otherwise, I think they would have been just like, oh, those other websites, cool. Chip, chip, cheerio. And wouldn't have worried about developing a whole nother thing on the thing that they're already doing, YouTube, right? They're hosting YouTube. That's what they do. But, you know, we have a $10 super chat. I'm going to get to it right quick because why not? It says, Joel just rescaped a 55-gallon with Fluval stratum, has, I always say this wrong, Parkinsoni rainbows, Odessa barbs, Phoenix tetra, Pilatus, and Pandicories. The old Pandicories. Ready? What 5 plants would you go in with no CO2 and Fluval 3.0 planted light? Let's see. So you got Pandicories, so nothing really at the bottom because you're going to have some troubles with the cories uprooting anything if they're already in there. If you want to do a cory tank with plants, you want to get the plants in there, let them grow in before you get the cories in there, because they'll go in and they'll root around in there, which is fine. But once they're, once those plants are secured, then that's not really a concern. But I think what I would do with this tank setup is I would focus on, the larger and smaller Anubias. So I would definitely go with, Nana Petite, all over the place for sure, especially with the rainbows. They look so cool if you got the smaller Nana Petite Anubias in there. It looks really cool, especially if you're taking pictures and stuff. It makes it really easy to take cool pictures. Also, I would definitely go with Java ferns that I could attach to stuff. Probably Bucafalandra that I could attach to things. That would be great. Some of the bigger Anubias also, like Cafafolia. Cafafolia. I would definitely go with some of that. And just anything that I could attach. That's what I would be focusing on personally if that was my setup and I wasn't going to do any CO2 and you have the adjustability of the Fluval 3.0 light. Because this is basically what I'm going to be doing with the brand new 120. So the brand new 120 has got Fluval stratum in it. There's also some Eco Complete and some other stuff that's kind of mixed into it. It's not all brand new substrate. Some of it's been used. Some of it's been used, you know what I mean? And so that's the thing, right? And but I'm definitely going to be having a lot of attached things. So I'm going to take all of my Anubias out of all of my tanks, and it's going to go into this 120. So all of the little Anubias trees and all that kind of stuff that I have made up is all going to become be coming out of all of my other tanks and being, it's all going to go into that 120 because it's going to be a bamboo shrimp aquarium. That's what it's going to be. I already talked to Corey over at Aquarium Co-op. We're ordering in the bamboo shrimp. They're going to come in. We're going to quarantine them. Then we're going to move them over to the 120. It's going to be really cool. I'm not sure exactly how many we're going to put in there. I think it's somewhere between 40 and 70 bamboo shrimps. Now, so that being said, that's pretty much what I'm doing with that bamboo shrimp. I eventually will probably do some kind of carpeting plant, but the reason that I'm having to do that is it's going to be extremely high flow. So there's going to be a ton of water going around in here because this is going to be for those bamboo shrimp. Just to tell you a little quick portion of the story about the 120. As you guys know, I bought one of the 120s last year. Vicky bought one of the 120s last year. We had 2, right? So we got 2 of those. The plan is to ultimately someday have 5 of those 120s. When is that going to happen? I have no idea. It's going to be a long, long time, and I'll tie that together with this story and kind of explain it a little bit. We have Olivia in the house. So out of all of the things that we got going on, we have also a child in the house that needs to be taken care of on a regular basis, as far as I know. You know, you have to feed them and walk them and scoop up their poop and that kind of stuff. And so we have quite a bit with that going on, plus all the other things. And Vicky just said, you know what? I'm going to donate. I just want to donate this tank to your business, basically. Like, she just wanted to donate it to the YouTube channel or whatever you want to call it. No real exchange of ownership or anything like that. She's just like, just use it. So I was like, okay. And she said on one contingency that there better be bamboo shrimp in it. So we're just going to kind of go all out, go crazy with a bamboo shrimp setup. And so that's why I'm saying that's the parallel right there of the tank that, oh, no, I almost don't want to forget my member here, Paul. I was reading your last name. I almost called you Jones. Jones was popping out in my head. So that's going to be the very much similar side of that. Now, the reason that I'm going with the Nubius and stuff like that is that I have the Fluval 3.0 on that aquarium, and I'm going to be able to dial it down. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be able to, like, oh, I can keep the light level nice and low, or bring it up or down. You know, eventually I can always just turn it up more later, but it'll keep it nice and kind of mellow lighting in there for the bamboo shrimp. It'll look really cool. It'll photograph really well. And also, feeding them is going to be the big deal. We need all that water flow because bamboo shrimp have those feeder hands, right? I think they're Adiopsis talentius or something like that. But they feed with their hands, and they need that flow constantly. And that is not necessarily an issue for plants that are surviving. It's not a big deal. But any new plants that I put in there, it is definitely going to disturb them and probably break them loose from wherever I'm trying to plant them. So that's the parallel there. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing in there. Probably some Java ferns, some stuff like that I can attach to things, and also keep them up. I want to keep them up really elevated, and that's where that Fluval light comes in handy because I can dial it down. Mark Dibble's asking about sump or canister filter for the new 20, the new 120. Do you have to ask, brother? Do you have to ask? You know I'm not putting a canister on that thing. It would take a ton of money for them to get me to put an FX6 or something like that on an aquarium. It would take a ton. They would have to come over here with a check. It's not even send me a free canister or anything like that. It'd be like, you got to come over here with some money to make me work on a canister filter these days. It's almost just a personal opinion at this point, realistically, more than anything. I don't have time to deal with them. I just don't like the way that they operate. They're not modular. Next thing you know, there's an O-ring on it that's bad, and I got to order one from the moon somewhere out in space, you know, so it's kind of one of those things. Savannah says she's on Android. Sorry, could not find it on the channel page unless it's not available, but that just doesn't seem right. The join button is on the main page. I have to do some work to make it look cooler and move it into a better spot. I don't have time for that right now. We're literally doing a live show. But it is the bright blue join word. You'll see it somewhere. I think it's straight below the video. It's just a big blue join button. I don't know. If you want to join it, you can. Somebody was asking earlier, where did it go? And Randy Hightower, I'm going to answer that in just a second. I just want to answer this real quick. Somebody was asking what is better, Patreon or YouTube join button. You guys can do whatever you like. Honestly, I prefer you guys to be on Patreon because it gives me a better opportunity to interact with you guys, do stuff moving forward. Also, it gives me a much better tracking as to what's coming in and what's going out. If there's a problem, people can message me on there. That's one thing that most people don't realize. There is a messenger on Patreon. A lot of people don't realize that. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of like Facebook Messenger or something. It's a direct message that you can just send me. If you're on Patreon, you can, and you're a patronizer, you can go in there and send me a direct message, and then we can just kind of go back and forth with any kind of conversation. So, if you guys want to do the join button, you can. I don't know what that's going to turn into. Here's the realistic thing. I was looking up the how many subscribers there was today, because we're getting really close to trying to get a screenshot of a cool number, 2222222, right? So I looked it up earlier. I was like, didn't get it, because we were at 22,220. We were too short. And I figure we'll probably go over it by the time the show's done. But it's not a bad thing. It's not whatever. I think the only way that the join button would really be consequential, I think, as far as it being like better or worse than anything else, is that if like 20,000 of you signed up or something, you know what I mean? Or 1,000 people signed up for it in like the first week, then it would trigger something over at Google and would tell them, we got to contact them and find out what's going on, basically. I think that's the only way that it would really be that big of a difference or a deal or anything. As you can see, Paul Jones's name is green and all that kind of stuff. And there's a really terrible little picture there that I have to resize and fix, which I will at some point in time. But, yeah, so, that kind of deal. But Randy Hightower asked a cool question here. Says, or I don't know if it's a question, but just to respond to the statement, I guess. Says, Cophifolia is one of my favorite Anubias. I really like the texture on the leaves. I must not be the only one, though. It seems to be out of stock quite often. Well, one of the big deals with that Anubias, and I always want to say Cophifolia. Hopefully, I know I'm always saying it wrong. I bet there's somebody out there that's like, yeah, freaking out whenever they hear me talk. But most of the time, whenever I'm doing research and stuff, I only hear it in my head when I'm reading it, which means I probably heard it wrong in my head, because I probably didn't take a lot of time to sit there and be like, all right, let me think back to Latin class and okay, the E there, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's life. But one of the deals with that is that it last time I looked into it, Cophifolia and Fraseri are two that are normally harvested from the shore. So really depending on the time of year and growing conditions and stuff like that. So you'd have to think, oh man, I was really hoping to get some of Fraseri or Cophifolia or something like that, right? And it turns out there's a flood, but we just never know because it's probably not reported from where it's going on. And we're like, oh man, it must be out. And it really is. It does take a long time to grow that plant in a nursery. So the one time I've ever seen it in a nursery was at Dennerle in Germany, in their actual greenhouse there. They were actually growing some of them there. And, I was talking to Stefan Hummel when I was there, and I was like, how long is it taking to grow these, man? And he's like, like 6 months, so it really is kind of one of those like, oh man. But, just like anybody else out there, if you are looking to break into the, if you're going to try and be a plant grower, so take it from me that even when I fly all the way over to Europe, go to Germany, that kind of stuff, they're taking this same advice. Whichever portions of that plant growing business that they're going to get for free, and for free is the wrong word, but it's just naturally collecting it, whatever. They're collecting rainwater in this giant, I think they said it was like 2 million gallons or something like that. They have this huge water retention that's underneath the building, that they're collecting rainwater all year round to make sure that they always have water to use on hand and they're not pulling from the municipality, right? Along with the fact that they're a greenhouse, so they do let in some ambient light, but they also have they have a bunch of auxiliary lighting because oftentimes the sun just ain't doing the right thing at the time of year when you want it to be doing a certain thing, right? So they have a bunch of auxiliary lighting that's run off solar panels, right? So they're not spending money on electricity. It's just that one-time cost of the solar panels. It's that one-time cost of the water collection and stuff like that. So that's the kind of stuff that we should all bear in mind if you are going to try and get into being a plant grower, if that was what popped into your head. Because I know a lot of people out there have approached me and been like, you know what, I'm gonna start my own greenhouse thing. And you know, the unfortunate side of it is that it's very difficult to do in most areas in America, especially if you live somewhere that is relatively nice, which means you live near a city. It's going to cost you money, and if you aren't necessarily getting everything for free, it's going to cost you money, and that just costs everything down the line. Yeah. Man, I look really weird on the replay. It's all bright red. I look all bright red. Let me change this. Hold on. Video input. Let's go like this. Let's tone that down a little bit. Yeah. Let's get a little sepia tone. Yes. Monday's a good day for sepia tone. Let's get a chat stalled. Did we lose the chat? We might have lost everybody. Ultimate Fish Keeping says 127 watching. Keep hitting that like button. That's right. I have to mention hitting the like button. If you guys really want to hit the like button, you can. I guess that's a thing. I guess it really actually does mean something, I guess. It really does. We have a brand new member, Kit Kat McGee. I don't even know what this really means at this point about the membership thing, because I know it charges you guys $4.99 a month, I think. And then somebody was asking about the split earlier. I think it's the same as... It's the same as all YouTube revenue. It's like, what is it, like 64% or something like that gets passed on. I think they take like a third now. So is that 67, something like that? Guppies Puppies says hi. Andy Dick has a empty 90 gallon. My water out of the tap has a pH of 6.8. What would you put in it? pH of 6.8 is going to be pretty much open to whatever you want to do. I wouldn't put too much thought into it, because 6.8 is really just kind of middle of the road inert. So you could go up, down, or just stay where you're at. Most things, almost everything in the aquarium hobby, other than a lot of specifically high or specifically low pH things, are going to definitely enjoy 6.8 and not really have a problem with it. So I wouldn't be super concerned where you're at. What would I do if I had a 90 gallon? Man, it's really specific timing as to what I'm going to do, but it probably will be a planet aquarium. It probably have some kind of shrimp in it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Just like the tanks I got now. I do the tanks I have now because that's what I want to do. You know, I realistically, you know, somebody asked me, like, do I want to do a giant tank someday? I'm like, yeah, that's why it's the top goal on Patreon. The top goal on Patreon is to do a 20,000 gallon aquarium. You know what I'm talking about? That's the top goal. The reason why that's the top goal is because that's what I want to do. I want to go around and put 20,000 gallon aquariums just in people's neighborhoods and stuff. Like, what up? We're dropping this off in your yard, brah. You know what I mean? Like, just doing nutty stuff. And, you know, I don't know. Hey. I'm not somebody who knows what the future's going to look like, but it's what I like doing. I like growing plants. I like breeding shrimp. I like breeding fish and stuff. Hey, it's my jam. I like getting weird about LED lights and really just wondering what they're all about. You know, light timers, water pumps, DC, AC, I don't know, canister filter. Don't get me wrong, guys. I like canister filters. I just don't like operating them in my own house or my own shop. I guess it's a shop, right? It's a very small. Man, I really feel like I got a sneeze coming on. If I bust out a big old sneeze, would you guys let me know if I sneezed or not? Twin Cities Guppies is here. My guy, Kang Lee. What's up, buddy? Can't wait to go back out to Minnesota. Although you guys have a polar vortex going on, so I'm kind of glad I wasn't... Certainly am glad I wasn't planning on going out there this week, because it's like negative 400 or something. Not 100% sure. I don't even think the I don't think that the Weather Channel actually had a color for what was going on. It was like indigo. Bentley Pascal's here. What's up, my guy? If you guys don't know who Bentley is, check him out on Friday's show. He was here. Special guest, Bentley Pascal. Today we were supposed to have a special guest, but I think it got pushed to next week. I think today's special guest got pushed out until next week, you guys. So, chillax with yourselves, because we don't have a special guest this week. It'll be next week. You know. Kit Kat says. I'm on Patreon too, under my pseudonym. I just joined for the lulz and emojis. Yes, I'll be putting some. There it was. I knew it was coming. I knew that sneeze was coming. I shouldn't have trusted it. Shouldn't have trusted that sneeze, you guys. Oh, you know, sorry about that. Wow. King says it's -50 with the wind chill. That is ridiculous. Kit Kat McGee or badges or whatever. I can't even see what it is. Yeah, it's the wrong. I have to resize it. It stretched it and made it weird. But it'll be fixed by the next time we go live. Don't you worry about that. I got time set aside to make you guys some cool badges. And I think I have to upload emojis, I guess. Or I'm not sure. Maybe the emojis are already there. We'll see if Kit Kat can find the emojis and see if they work or not. Ultimate fish keeping. Joel, you sounded Italian there where you said, laugh out loud. We would let you know, as unfortunately the camera would pick it up. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes around here, right? Oh, yeah. Stephen Pope says Chicago's going to suck bad for the next few days. That's right. Yeah, it's one thing for me to look at, like, moving to possibly, Montana or Idaho or something like that, where it does get to the -10 sometimes, gets to 0, single digits, stuff like that. But it really is, next level to be like -35. Like, that's just ridiculous. That's when people are like, hey man, you should move to Alaska. And I'm like, I don't know. Even the peninsula down south and everything in Alaska, like, that kind of crazy weather comes in sometimes for a good amount of time too. It's not just like a day or 3 days or something. Like, you could be definitely stuck for you could be stuck at like -30 for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, stuff like that. Anthony's got 75 degrees. Oh, you must be in like Florida or something. That sounds pretty wild. It's about 50 degrees here today, and sun is shining. It's lovely out here. James Lyser is a brand new member. Well, we got some new members coming in today, I guess. We got the join button, and now people are joining. It means I'm going to be obligated to do some work for you guys, which is all right, because I was already planning on doing that anyhow. That makes it easy. See if we got ourselves any questions. Let me scroll up the chat here a little bit. Hobbit Habits Bree. That's a Hobbit Habits /Bree. Okay, says, my green gold cories spawned on the filter intake about a month ago and are now trying again. I don't think it'll work this time either. Throw on a little spawning mop for them. And, give them a chance to spawn on a little spawning mop. You could get some baby cories. Some baby cories, man. That's fun. Baby cories is super fun. They're fun little guys. Top chat annoys me. Always forget to switch to live chat. Oh, yeah. I've done that a bunch of times where I was like, why is this chat so weird? And you accidentally are on the top chat. We're like, I don't even know how it... I don't know how it sorts them out, but it makes it pretty crazy to deal with. I'll tell you that. Where I live, it got to 47.7 Celsius last week, 117. Oh, that was super funny. I was one of the creator groups I'm involved in. Somebody had posted, because obviously Canada, America, or the United States of America, sorry, the U.S., Canada are a lot. There are a lot of YouTubers, photographers, all those kinds of people. There's a lot. And most of the stuff that they were seeing on the feed was from people in North America. And it's like, oh, man, you guys all wearing jackets and you got snow on the ground and all that kind of stuff. And apparently this person was in Australia, and they're having record heat wave and drought. And he posted a beautiful picture of the desert and like a dried out cow skull, long since dead, like petrified, kind of not petrified, just dried out, like, that kind of deal. And I was like, oh yeah, I always have a tendency to forget that the southern hemisphere, it's super summertime right now. Oh, you guys hear that? I don't know if you guys can hear that. Can you guys hear that? Can you guys hear that? Oh, I got that set wrong. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I just had a timer go off because we're gonna have. I'm gonna try to keep the pace up on this show today. I'm gonna have that timer go off and remind me of what time it is, then I'll know what's going on. The follow-up from Bree says they have a mop, Java Moss, and all the glass space, but they've chosen the filter intake for some reason. Oh, yeah. You could take a horse to the river, but you can't force them to drink. Same kind of deal with the spawning fish, man. You can hope for the best, but sometimes they just got a mind of their own, and they always do make some really goofy moves. Let's see. Could you put Corey's in with Betta rubra in a 20-gallon? And can you colony breed Betta rubra in a 20 high? You could probably put Corey's in there. That might be fine. But I want to make sure I'm getting the right betas here. Yeah. Perugia. There we go. They're a pretty fun beta, honestly, but I would say like the first time we tried to breed them, I always want to, when somebody asks a breeding question and it's a more specific breeding question, I always want to double check on my beta stuff because I have to look at a little picture to trigger my memory to remind me, oh yeah, that's them. That's what they did. That's what we did. Da, da, da. Now, we initially had them in very similar to like a 20-gallon. It might have been a 20 long, might have been a 20 tall. I'm not 100%. I think we had like 8 of them in there, and we assumed that they would do fine and breed and everything like that, but we could never really get them to properly breed as a group like that. We eventually had to get them out and get them individualized, get them paired up in order to get them to breed. That just was experience. I don't know. You might be able to pull it off yourself, but we weren't able to do it, and it did not work out well as having them a bunch in there. I think it has something to do with just territorial disputes, and feeding is always kind of weird when you have extra fish in a tank, whereas a pair you can make sure that they're both feeding. So I think we broke them down and put them into smaller tanks, and we did well. I think we had those in those little what was like 7.9 flue vault tanks. I think we had a bunch of those set up, maybe even the smaller one. Let's see here. Hunter is asking, hey Joel, I'm about to be heading away for 2 weeks, unfortunately to Wisconsin. I currently run the flue vault 3.0 on my 75 and have some algae issues. Should I turn it down or off before I leave? Well, I mean, if you're having algae issues, I don't know the rest of your tank parameters, but generally speaking, too much light is generally an issue with a lot of algae in an aquarium. But so I would look into that. I would also look at your fertilizing schedule, what you got going on, water changes, CO2, all that kind of stuff, and add it all up, and then figure out what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? And from there, then you might want to, if you have the Fluol 3.0, you might just be able to schedule a better program for your aquarium. So, maybe instead of it going all the way up to 100%, maybe you just ramp it down to 80%, 70%, whatever, and just kind of back it off a little bit so that, maybe you could keep the same time schedule. That's what I would do. What happened? Somebody can't make every stream. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to catch up with the chat here a little bit. Connor Shipley saying, ever used DIY Osmocote root tabs? If so, what has your experience with them been like? Osmocote is a bad idea in your aquarium. I've tried it, and it was bad. It's a fertilizer that's not meant to be used underwater. I put it that way. That's not its intended use. Does it have fertilizers in it? Yeah, sure does. So, I mean, will it do something to your aquarium? Sure. Would it maybe be unhelpful? Probably. Having a tendency to do stuff like that and try it out, I would, you could definitely do it if you like. You could try it out if you like. Every time we tried it, my experience was, it certainly wasn't even worth the money that we spent on it, which is not that much. Osmocote doesn't cost very much. It's usable in aquaponic setups and hydroponic setups, but it's not that great. Underwater, trying to keep your fish alive, that kind of stuff. It's just not what it's meant to do. Tizzle Dexter's gotta go. All right. I'll see ya. Have a good night. Jeffrey Rosenfarb says, Joel, in theory, if water conditioner like Prime detoxifies heavy metals from the water column, how soon after a water change is recommended before you should use fertilizer that contains heavy metal? Well, it really depends on what you're speaking of as far as heavy metals go. There are a lot of, I would need some better clarity on what you're talking about. Are you talking about mercury? Are you talking about arsenic? Or you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of heavy metal out there that you may or may not be considering. But when it detoxifies most of the heavy metals that you might be, that those bottles and stuff are specifically talking about, is what they're generally doing is binding, to mercury. Or hold on, let me look up a list here. I think I got one here. But like, here's an example. What's this? Oh, this is nonsense. But aluminum, mercury, copper, cadmium, nickel, arsenic, lead. You know what I mean? So they're basically gonna bind to those and essentially either make them inert by having another ion bound to them, but it's not necessarily going to detoxify it in the way that you're kind of thinking. Like, it's not going to add something to it and then you're going to be able to change it out in a water change. I mean, if it's still bound up into the water column, then yes, it will go out, but most likely the same amount is going to be added in by the new water if you're on a consistent water in and out of this aquarium. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically just going to bind anything that's really dangerous and essentially make it so it's not going to pass through into any critters and stuff that are in there. So I wouldn't stress out that much about it. And the fertilizers that you would be adding, like Easy Green, I use Easy Green from Aquarium Co-op, and you know, those fertilizers aren't going to contain the heavy metals that that would be considered dangerous, right? So I got a link right here for you. Copy, paste. So there's a link. It'll take you right over to Easy Green. And one of the big reasons, like, those products are shrimp safe. They're easy to use. They got a pump top. Same with the iron. I use the iron. I don't use the Easy Carbon because I don't really need the Easy Carbon. You know what I mean? And it's definitely the way to go. There's not going to be any toxic metals or anything in Easy Green, you know? Ollie Sims with the $2 super chat. British pound style. I'm trying to figure out his avatar. I don't know if that's Arsenal or what. It's hard to tell. I'm not that great at English Football League jerseys. They're constantly changing, so I don't know. But maybe you'll let us know in the chat. I mean, if you got it up as your avatar, I would really like to know what's your football team. Anyhow, best breeding fish that can live with shrimps. Now, that's a pretty good question. But to be brutally honest with you, I would say that, like, if you're going to be breeding fish specifically, I wouldn't be breeding them with anything else. If you're going to be specifically breeding a fish, I would like to keep them in their own tank. And, you know, you set up like a breeding style tank, like Dean would be a perfect example, is that you have a tank with really, it doesn't have substrate in it. Hold on. There. It doesn't have substrate in it. It doesn't really have anything like that. You have like a sponge filter. It's super easy to do water changes. You don't have to do a whole bunch of extra stuff to it, right? And you're going to be breeding in there to make sure that you are breeding them exactly how you want. It's way easier to handle the water parameters and stuff like that. So if I was going to breed fish, that's how I would do it. I wouldn't have them all mixed together, but the sort of bulletproof shrimp would be the cherry shrimp. So Neocaridina, red variety, would be the way to go. I mean, my colonies get eaten on constantly. That's part of the food source for the puffers and stuff like that. So, and the colony rages on because shrimp are generally a food source in nature. That's pretty much what they do. That's pretty much their main form of their existence. And Ollie with the follow-up says team is Stoke City. All right, I have no idea where Stoke City is from. As you guys know, I played some pretty higher level soccer when I was younger, aka football soccer. One of the games we played before Chelsea and Man U. We played the opening game before that game. That was, where was that? Was that the Kingdom? And then one of the other games we played was in front of, what was it? I can't remember now. Gosh, I should know this. Hold on. I'm trying to remember. Netherlands. There we go. I didn't want to say the wrong squad. But anyhow, regardless of that, no one cares about my youth playing football. No one cares. So let's just go back to talking about fish. FFEJ 420 caps. Thank you, Joel, for reinvigorating my love for the hobby and making me step up my game. You the man. Well, I don't know. I'm a man. I try to be a helpful man. That's just such a cheese way to respond to that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Is that better? I think that's a better way. Agreed. Let's agree to agree. A pound. Give it a dap. Oh my gosh. I forgot to give props to my boy Rumbus for the super chat. Thank you, brother. I missed that earlier. I was slacking. Let me see here. It was 17.21 Swedish krones. Come all the way from Sweden. And yeah, we do have 3 new members today, which is dope. Thank you. And let's see. I contend the one time I put a betta with a shrimp, the shrimp survived because the betta couldn't be sussed to actually chase food. Yeah, well, you know, the cherry shrimps don't get eaten that much, and it's not so much during the day. They get eaten at night when the shrimps are tripping in the dark and just being like, "Hey, man, I'm just hanging out here in the dark." Oh! And then they get eaten. They get eaten. Which, you know, I mean, that's not my favorite thing, you know. Ollie H is here. What's up, Ollie? Good to see you. Says, ever had any experience with neon tetra disease? One of my silver tips has cysts developing and the other system starting to show. The internet would have me believe it's incurable. I personally have never had neon tetra disease myself, but a lot of people around me have definitely had it. It is real, and as far as I know, it's not curable. But I think I would just go with the European school of thought. Make sure that temperature, water quality is awesome. Make sure your food quality is awesome. And once, you know, all those things with the cycle tank, make sure your bacteria is doing well and things are going well and the environment is really healthy. That's going to be the best thing that you can do, honestly. Like, it just really is going to be the best thing that you could do with any fish tank. It does not even matter what the fish tank is. You might have a super lame 500-gallon tank with 1 arowana in it. Ugh, that's the worst. Blech. Those tanks are disgusting as far as I'm concerned. You got 1 arowana in this stupid tank. Blech. But that's just me, you know? It's a personal preference kind of thing. Some people really like that jazz, and I don't. Or you could have an elaborately planted 20-gallon aquarium with a whole bunch of cool, really awesome tetras in it, which I would definitely want to show up and take a look at. I don't want to look at anyone's dumpster fire arowana tank. I really don't. But let's say you had a super awesome nano-sized 20 gallons with lots of plants in it and a bunch of cool little fish. I'd probably want to show up to your house. Take a look. I'd be like, take a look. It's in this house. It's a tiny fish tank. And get LeVar Burton down here. Help us out. But you know what I mean. I don't know. I trail off. Senior moment. Get quiet. But yeah, I would definitely go the European route of just keep rocking the good food, good water quality, just making sure that everything is up to the best that you can do. And a lot of fish, you know, there's some things they can't fight off. But if they were going to fight it off, them being in the best shape is going to be the best chances, right? You know, let's say I ate a whole bunch of good food and was getting my exercise and was doing well, was living in a nice environment and was having a great time and, you know, took my shower and brushed my teeth 100 times and blah, 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 all the good stuff that people are supposed to do. The keto diet, I don't know. I don't even know what people are supposed to do anymore. But let's say I was doing all those things and I got ill. I would be in a much better position to fight it off, right? You know, meds would probably help, but being healthy already would probably help also, right? I think, at the very least, if you're going to do some kind of medication, that if your fish are in a real healthy position, the medication is really going to help, you know, or really work well, right? Oh my gosh, we have a new member, Sopoloco E55. Now we're getting crazy today. I don't know what we're gonna do. Me and these 4 members are gonna have a fun little something coming up over the next couple days. And am I excited? You're damn right. Why not? Why wouldn't I be? Ollie with the super chat. 5 pounds worth, says, I have a heavily planted tank for shrimp to hide and just thought maybe Endler guppy pair breeding would be okay. I'm not a serious breeder, though. Yeah, now that would be a perfect setup. So something like some Endlers or something like that aren't going to be super. You want some nice live bearers or something. You know, you could get some guppies, you could get some Endlers, you get whatever you like, some nice live bearers. I think platies and mollies are kind of just boring to me. Except for when they're in like a brackish tank. They do pretty good in a brackish tank and end up looking pretty cool. The breeding rainbows. Oh my god. I don't even that is nice, Jason. I like that. The breeding rainbows. Bentley and I got to start that show. That would be Bentley and I's new show. We'll call it the Breeding Rainbows. It should be like, I can do anything. Take a look, Bentley bought a book. It's Breeding Rainbows. Right? Is that how that goes? Yeah, then we'll be like, and we could do the More You Know segments and stuff. With the star flying by. We could do that. Oh. Well, book it, Bentley. It's going to be time. We're going to do it. We're going to do that. Oh, my God. We have another member. Hawkeye 93 iffy. 93 fee. 93 iffy. All right. I didn't realize that anybody would even want to be a member of this club. I feel like it's like the, what do you call it? It's like that, what's that guy? Groucho Marx, you know, it's like Groucho Marx wouldn't really want to be in a club that would have him as a member. I like that timer going off. That's definitely helpful for me. Kiwi Mamo just turned the AC on. Heard it's a tad hotter at your end of the country down there in Gillett's part of the world. I think down there in Gillett's world, it's super hot. A big part of it has to do with old Gillett himself being down there. He's got some strong moves, if you guys don't know. It's Nature Man says, my 135 gallon came in with a 950 gallon per hour AC pump. Is it going to do the job? My biggest tank so far is a 55 gallon. What can I expect? Is there any way to adjust the flow rate? For sure. 100%. There is definitely ways to adjust the flow rate. Let me grab a link for you because I actually just ordered some of these the other day for my for one of my new tanks. I had to get some. So let me all departments go over here, and then we go with the gate valve, and it'll probably come up. King Brothers. Those are the ones that I like. These are the ones that I like right here. Obviously, only buy the individual single packs, but depending on the size that you want, one of the reasons you're looking for a gate valve is you're going to turn a handle and it's going to close down how much flow you want. But this will get you on the track to maybe finding the exact one that you want, the one that you like. You know, sometimes you got to find the one that you like, and you be like, "It's the one that I like." Right? No, it's not as good as Breeding Rainbow. I gotta get on that. Bentley, we just thought about it. I don't know. Hopefully you have the... maybe Bentley got the... If Bentley would get on and start the YouTube channel already, we would just start our own Breeding Rainbows channel. We can just do all sorts of weird little sketches on there. That'd be fun. I'd like to do more sketch comedy with Bentley. Let's do that. Yes. Yes. Let's do more sketch comedies. It'd be fun. Devin Pepper, so question, I want to set up a 20 high. Which would you recommend working with for fun as like a centerpiece fish for my mini fish room? Would you do a Betta, rubra, or pseudomagil furcatus with some plecos? I think I would go with the pseudomagil personally. Because betas, I start to lose my mind, and the next thing you know, I'd have like 40 other tanks around. I think. Realistically. I think that's what would end up happening. The next thing you know, I'd have another bucket rack that I was breeding in with airlines running around, and it would be crazy and it would be a gigantic mess. Whereas the pseudomagills, they're just really cool. So I think I would go with those. I mean, they have those like extra fins and stuff. They're really cool kind of fish. So I think that's what I would go with, and then it would be a lot easier to pay attention to what I was doing and not let it get out of hand. Oh my God, we have two more members, two new members. Jesse Cadell. It looks like Cadell. Yeah, Jesse C. And Mike with the dad van, the fish tank barn. If you don't know about the fish tank barn, you should go check out Mike. He's making some really cool stuff, and I like it. I like being able to watch the progression too. It's fun to be on YouTube and get to watch people come to YouTube and actually just watch their progression over the years. That, to me, is really cool. Let's see here. If you're close enough to do so, you'd have to look them up and research which ones you can. I'm not sure what that is. Let me see. Trying to catch up on the chat. All right, it's becoming difficult to catch up on the chat. Now it's just a show where I'm reading stuff. Maybe because my brain's starting to slow down. Oh, man, we're coming up on the end of the show for today. We've got a couple minutes left. We got 4 or 5 minutes left on the show today. I don't have any video segments because I'm trying to build some YouTube videos that are going to be better than my previous ones. I'm trying, you guys. I'm really pushing my schedule right now to the limit. I have a bunch of tax stuff to do. I need to get that done before 5 o'clock rolls around. So I don't have any video segment because I'm saving it for a video that's not the live stream. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. We're just going to do an hour-long show today, and that's going to be today. So Poloco. Oh my God, I didn't even think about doing arrows. I got to do arrows. You're right. I got to definitely do some arrows That's going to be the jam. You got a good point. Anybody who's a member, shoot me a message or whatever. I don't know how we do this, but shoot me a message on what you guys want for fonts and that kind of stuff. But I definitely do want to remind you guys that the Aquarium Co-op is our affiliate sponsor, at least until the end of the month, which is only a couple of days left. So, that being said, if you want to help support this channel, right? If you want to support this channel and you want to buy stuff from a pretty much awesome dudes online as far as that goes, like being able to sell fish stuff online and everything, I would say Aquarium Co-op's right at the dang top. If you're in the United States, you can actually just click through that link into the chat. Takes you there. No worries. You just order whatever you like. It just helps give us a little oomph to what we got going on. That's an affiliate program. We also have an affiliate program with Amazon.com also, which you can go there and just order whatever the heck you like. And if you wanted to be, one of those people that wanted to help support this channel without buying fish tank stuff, and you just wanted to buy whatever the heck you were going to buy, go through that link right there. It takes you over to Amazon. It takes it to the shop. You can look through some of the products there, but just head on straight through to the regular old Amazon page. It'll store the cookie for 24 hours. So whatever you buy, whether it's like dog treats or whatever strange leather gear you may or may not be into, I don't know. Don't judge. Maybe you're going to buy toothpicks or maybe a tape measure. Right? You just buy whatever you want at Amazon, and it just says that we sent you to Amazon. Boom. Super easy. So you don't even have to buy fish tank stuff or anything. Maybe for whatever weird, bizarro reason you don't like Corey, and you're like, I don't want to. Well, you can just go over to Amazon and order some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we got some super chats here. We're going to hammer those real quick, but that was the little bit of the sales pitch. Oh, the other part of the sales pitch is you can roll over to Patreon. We have a small community over there of almost 300 people that are helping to support and be able to do this show. And I'll tell you this much. I am getting, like I said, I'm doing my taxes. We just got done doing the taxes and stuff, and brutal, but not a bad thing. And thanks to all the Patreon people for kicking in this year. I can tell you, we could talk to my accountant. We literally went through. I basically did my absolute best to only spend money on things that are 100% essential and or food, which seems it seems not essential. But we went through. We did a great job last year, and we're just gonna keep rocking and rolling, and hopefully we keep going and. Maybe we'll get to that 20,000 gallon mark. Let's see. Scott Williams says, with a $5 super chat, what's the smallest tank you'd filter with a sump? And for tanks below that size, how would you filter? Canister or hang on back? Smallest tank I've ever done on a sump is a 5.5 gallon, I think. It might have been a smaller one than that. We might have done it on a 2.5 gallon at one point. We did a giant sump underneath a tiny, tiny tank. And I think realistically, like anything 10 gallons and up, I would just do a sump these days. Because I could just match a 10 gallon with a 10 gallon sump. Realistically. And save a lot of money too. Think about it. A couple of bulkheads, a pump, some hose, and another 10 gallon tank. Compared to, buying an FX4, you know what I mean? So, definitely save a lot of money. It's modular. None of the stuff is up in the display, all that kind of stuff. We got new members coming in. Jason R. Thank you, Jason. It's crazy. It's a weird Monday where I got to say thank you a lot. Normally we're just here and people are getting mad at me because the news over the weekends probably dragged me so deep into my depression that I end up talking about something that pisses off a bunch of people on a Monday because that's kind of the Mondays, right? But thank you guys, everybody, for coming. I like seeing all this green in the chat. That's pretty cool. I like that. Honestly, I didn't even think I was missing the color green in the chat, but it turns out it's been missing this whole time. I like it. I'm definitely going to keep that font green if I can. I like the members with the green. Whew. Okay. We got to say thanks to everybody that... Okay. I'm going to start at the bottom here and go up to the top. Jason R. is a new member. Thank you. T. Riddle, $5 super chat for sketch comedy channel with Bentley. I like it. I like that idea. We got to... Bentley and I will probably start that up. We'll probably just drop it on our channels because it's more of a pain to start a whole new channel. It's kind of chaos. Scott Williams, $5 super chat. Fish Tank Barn, new member. Jesse Cadell, new member. Hawkeye, new member. Sopaloco, new member. Ollie Simmons with the super chat. Ollie Simmons with another super chat. 2. Going British sterling pounds on us. I like it. James Leiser, Kit Kat McGee, Paul Jones, all new members. Paul Jones with the biggest super chat of the day. Thank you very much. And Rumbust, as always, supporting the show. Thank you, my brother. Very much appreciate it. All the way from Sweden. It's so far to internet from the Sweden. All right, guys. I love you very much. Have a fantastic Monday out there. Don't get all crazy or do anything weird. Don't forget to support this show and all your local stores. Go out to your local stores. Monday's a really good night to go out to their local fish store and check some things out. If you're in the Midwest in the polar vortex, don't go to the fish store. Stay home and stay safe. It's 1,000,000 degrees below zero, and you might die. And we don't want to. I don't want to hear about anybody trying to drive to a fish store and dying in a... polar vortex. That's just crazy. Stay safe. All right. Later.